Welcome to this short video about the app you recently purchased from Accu-Stats. We will start at the very beginning and take you through the entire process. A process that is complicated for the computer with thousands of calculations, but simple for you, the user. Regardless of your skill level, you will have the information to identify the areas that need improvement and the areas that are your strengths. No more guessing about how you played. It's not difficult. And when you understand the process, you will look forward to reviewing your summary page, including your TPA for the professional version or the shooter score in the amateur version. When you hear that someone shot a certain TPA or shooter score, you will know exactly how well they shot, not just the number of games won and lost. So let's get started. This is the outline of what we'll cover today. The login, choosing an application, the layout, some general concepts, some tips to use before the match starts, innings 2 through 60. We'll go over the summary page, the email section, and then also the error messages. You received a link in an email after your purchase of the app from Accu-Stats. Click on the link, and I would highly suggest that you bookmark this link because anytime that you need to download the app, you'll need to go to this page to begin. Insert your email address and the password given to you by Accu-Stats. Once you log on, you will be able to change the password to one that you like. After logging in, this page will appear. If you've purchased more than one app, all apps will show on this page, and you choose which app you want to download. In this instance, you would simply click Use Application. This is the layout for every inning in the app. On the left side is where Player 1's activity is recorded. On the right side is Player 2. Everything that Player 2 does is on the right side. The center section applies to both players. These are the descriptions of what can be recorded. Some general comments. The app is a two-player format, winner breaks. The most important concept to remember is to record the number of balls left on the table and the reason your turn at the table ended. The order of play is always Player 1, Player 2, go to the next inning. Player 1, Player 2, go to the next inning. Now, for example, if Player 2 wins the game and you go to the next inning, Player 1 will not shoot in that inning. So just remember that. The first row is also an important number to remember. This shows the number of balls on the table before you begin shooting. This is a real time saver. During the match, if you go to the table and you play a safety and you know you didn't make any balls, you don't have to count the balls all over again. It will remind you how many balls were on the table when you started shooting that inning. Before the match begins, in the left side, you'll see a drop-down box for select games. You can choose either 9 or 10 ball. The default is 9 ball, so unless you're playing 10 ball, nothing will need to be done in this selection. After it is determined who will break to start the match, you would insert their name in the white box on the left-hand side for player number 1. Player number 2's name will be put in the white box on the right-hand side. Innings 2 through 60 are the same. Just remember to record the balls left on table and then either a miss, kick, safety, whatever reason that you left the table, check that box. The professional summary. If you would like to receive an email of this report, insert your address in either white box and at the bottom of the page click email. Be sure to click this before you click start over if you want to receive an email of this report. If you're in a tournament and you're going to be playing another game, when you click start over, it will erase all information for the current match. This is the actual results from the 9-ball U.S. Open Finals between Shane Van Boening and Dennis Corrillo. It was a race to 13, and Shane won 13-10, but it was one of the most close to perfect matches that you could witness. There were 23 games, and there was a total of 2 shots missed. But this is the information that is so valuable to learn when you finish a match of how well you did. If you'll notice, Shane missed 1 shot and Dennis missed 1 shot. Shane had 8 out of 13 good breaks where he made a ball. Dennis, 3 out of 9. As far as kicks go, both of them had to do some kicks, but both of them were successful. Both of them had to play safeties, but they were successful as well. Shane had 3 breaking runs, and Dennis had 1. This is truly a score that we all can try and match. Now I'd like to go over 4 different error messages. If you ever see an inning and it has a red message on it, that's an error, and you need to correct it then. There are 4 types of errors. Too many balls left on the table, does not shoot, cannot miss and win, and no balls left on the table. Too many balls left on the table. Notice in the upper right hand corner, player 2 had 6 balls on the table before they started shooting. Under balls left on the table, they recorded 7. To correct this, simply change the 7 to 6 or smaller. Now this is not an example of an error, but it's setting up one of the errors for does not shoot. If you notice, player 2 had no balls left on the table and they won the game. So obviously this is not an error. Now on the next inning, you notice in the upper left-hand corner it says does not shoot. Okay, player 1 inadvertently, a check mark was put next to 1 game. Obviously if he doesn't shoot, that is an error. So at the bottom of the page it says error does not shoot. Remove all entries for player that does not shoot. The next error message is win and miss. Notice for player 2, miss harder was checked as well as winning the game. So to correct this, you either uncheck 1 game or uncheck miss harder than a spot shot. No balls left on table. The error message says error, no blot. Blot is balls left on table. To correct, record the balls left on table. Player number 1 checked kick hit, but did not record any balls left on table. To correct this, simply choose the drop-down box for balls left on table and insert the correct number. Now in reality, what typically happens is you'll walk back to the seat and you will say, what did I do? And you'll say, I had a successful hit and I was kicking at the ball. You'll check that, and then you'll say, well, how many balls are left on the table? So the error message will pop up to remind you to record that, and at that time is when you typically count how many balls are left on the table. Definitions: balls on break. The range for balls on break is 0 through 5. So if you break and have a dry break, you still need to record 0 balls on break. Balls left on table. When a player leaves the table, record the number of balls left on the table. In 8-ball, each player counts the 8-ball. For dead balls, balls pocketed which you do not get credit for. If you make a ball and scratch, this would be a dead ball. In 8-ball, if you pocket one of your opponent's balls, record a dead ball in the next inning the opponent shoots. If you do not record a dead ball, then your opponent will get credit for that ball when they record how many balls are left on the table. This is the layout for a spot shot. There's a subjective by every scorekeeper as to what is a difficult shot, but miss easier than a spot shot or miss harder than a spot shot should follow the layout of this table. For scratch, check the scratch box in addition to the type of shot you attempted. For example, if you miss easier than a spot shot and also scratched, then check, miss easier than a spot shot, and scratch. For a kick hit, a player cannot see the ball and is forced to shoot a rail first, masse, or jump shot and makes a good hit. A kick no hit is when a player cannot see the ball and is forced to shoot a rail first, masse, or jump shot and fails to make a good hit. Safeties. There are two types of safeties, a planned safety and a regular safety. For a planned safety, if because of anticipated difficulties in the rack, a player had planned to play a safety several balls into his run, this indicates that the player never intended to run out the rack. Therefore, he is not given a position error for ending his turn. A regular safety is if a player can see the lowest number ball on the table and his primary concern is to play a safety. The app will automatically calculate whether or not your opponent makes a ball. The lower section of each inning contains some unusual situations, but situations that do occur. Kick first ball in. This is where a player cannot see the ball and successfully pockets it. The intentional foul. A player decides to take a foul on purpose. The error adjustment. This is an unusual situation that none of the categories seem to fit. To record an error adjustment, select either a -1 if the error should be to your benefit and it will increase your TPA, or +1 will lower your TPA. One game. If you have no balls left on the table, simply check one game and go on to the next inning. If you pocketed the 9-ball early, still record the balls left on table and check one game. In the pro version, this is what happens many times. That's why it makes it so easy to use this app, because if a player gets up there and he runs 8 balls and wins the game, breaks the next time, makes the ball, runs out, there's just one thing that you have to check. TPA, we all have heard of the TPA. It's equivalent to a batting average in baseball. This is the benchmark to compare your performance from match to match. This calculation is based upon all categories for all innings played and updates automatically. I hope this training video has been helpful. If you have any questions, comments, something comes up that you just can't figure out, please feel free to send an email shown on the screen. Thank you, and good shooting to everybody.